Dr. Batra, welcome back to the program.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Thanks a lot.
I wish you lived closer. We could have a beer once in a while. It would be nice. I wanted to get your take on this, and I think Sean sent you the link. This blog by the fellow who blogs as Unlawful Combatant, and his suggestion that, but he's got some really spot-on economic analysis, it seems, to me anyway, the suggesting that he says there was no real new growth engine that brought us out of the Great Depression other than time, and he says there was no cause for our GDP to expand the way it did since 2000. It was driven by debt finance spending, overvalued homes, and derivatives, and therefore the crash really just kind of took us back down to where we normally would have been. But because we had all recalibrated ourselves for what we thought was the new normal of a great growth frenzy in the bubble, when the bubble popped and took us back down to the normal line, it seemed so bad that we freaked out, seized up, stopped spending, and that pushed us below the normal line, and that's how depressions happen. And the only thing that gets us out of them is time, unless we do something radical like change structural stuff, like change our trade policies or change how government spends things. As we did with the Great Depression. Does this make any sense to you?
Yes, it does. It makes a lot of sense. I read that link that you sent me yesterday. Mm-hmm. Yes, the only growth engine that we now have is government's borrowing. There is no other growth engine in the economy which could pull us out of this recession. And the government's borrowing is not a good thing to have. That's really a bad sign for the economy. So unless we have basic reforms, and I mentioned some of those reforms in my email to Sean this morning, unless we have those reforms, we are not going to come out of this recession at all.
Okay, I missed the email. It didn't get forwarded to me. What are the reforms that you're suggesting, sir?
Well, first of all, we have to get rid of all the policies that have been introduced since 1980 or 1981 when Reagan took over.
So basically you're talking about undoing the Reagan Revolution.
Destroy jobs. What are those policies? Outsourcing. Mm-hmm. Free trade with China. I mean, free trade is not bad itself, but free trade with China is really bad. Then merger mania. Each time a company merges with another, they lay off thousands of people. Then not letting the minimum wage rise. Minimum wage, in fact, has been falling. The purchasing power of the minimum wage is very low now. So these are the things that we have to get rid of. And unless we do that, we are not going to come out of this recession.
It sounds to me like what you're saying, and by the way, let me let our listeners know, if you have a question for Dr. Batra, 866-987-THOM is our telephone number. We'll be taking calls for him after the break. It sounds like what you're saying is roll back Reaganomics.
Yes, right. Roll back Reaganomics, roll back supply-side economics. The so-called supply-side economics is really corruption of economics, really. But we have to roll it all back, not just one little thing. They are trying to reduce the budget deficit now, and this is going to be a disaster. Not that I'm fond of budget deficits, but that's the economy's life support now. And if you withdraw that life support, what's left then?
Right. Well, speaking, I know you don't do politics, but I do. And from where I'm sitting, what it looks like is the Republicans are doing everything they can to freeze up and destroy the economy of the United States between now and November, so that the voters will blame the president for it and he won't get reelected. Without asking you to comment on the political motivation of that, is the economic reality of that? Are the policies that are being promoted right now by largely Republicans, although there are some Democrats, and for that matter, the president is talking about cutting spending. Are these policies going to lead to a double dip recession, to a L curve like Nouriel Roubini was suggesting in the New York Times back in March? A flat out, a decade of no growth whatsoever, disaster, another Great Depression. I mean, where are we going?
I think we are at least going into a double dip, maybe even worse. Because remember, I have a very simple formula to understand this economy. In a normal economy, a healthy economy requires that supply equals demand.
Right.
Everybody knows that. Supply should be equal to demand to have a balance or equilibrium in the economy. But when the economy is hooked, is addicted to government spending, then the correct formula is supply equals demand plus government borrowing. Mm-hmm. Now, supply keeps rising year after year because of the increase in productivity, and demand is not rising because wages are not going up. Wages are constant. So if supply keeps rising, the only thing that will maintain this balance, this health of the economy, is that government spending, government deficit has to keep rising. Even if it's just constant, even then we lose. So now they're talking about cutting the government spending, cutting the government deficit. This means we are going to have another round of major layoffs, and that means at least a double-dip recession.
Right. Now we've seen as a result of the recession in part, but in 25 states that are Republican controlled, we have seen taxes cut since Obama came into office, spending cut, and massive job layoffs of government sector employees. And in those 25 states, we have also seen GDP go down and unemployment go up. In 24 states that are predominantly democratically controlled, we've seen tax increases, spending increases, GDP go up, unemployment go down. It seems like a fairly straightforward laboratory. And for that matter, when you say, government debt, couldn't it just be government spending? I mean, if taxes go up, and particularly they go up on money that otherwise wouldn't be circulating in the economy, that otherwise be stashed in Swiss bank accounts, then can't government spending play a role in this?
The government spending can play a role, except that we have to think about Greece as well, Greece and Portugal. Right. That, look at what's happening there. It cannot keep rising indefinitely. So if that cannot happen, that can't happen, then a point comes where you can't borrow anymore, and at that time interest rates shoot up and totally destroy your economy. So I would suggest the best thing would be to cut our trade deficit sharply, eliminate that first, and then gradually introduce other reforms like raising the minimum wage, also cutting the budget deficit slowly, not too fast, slowly. Right. This way, we can bring our economy out of the recession very quickly. Actually, American economy's problems are the easiest to solve. Right. Other countries have bigger problems. The U.S. does not have a foreign currency debt. That's a big blessing.
We're talking with Dr. Ravi Batra. Hang on just a second, sir. We're talking with Dr. Ravi Batra. We'll be right back. Hey, Robert, in Baltimore, Maryland. Robert, you are on with Dr. Ravi Batra if you have a question for him.
Hello, Tom. Hello, Dr. Batra. Dr. Batra, you recommended in the past to choose gold for personal finance as a haven. And I'm wondering, I'm kind of jittery about the stock market now. And if I had a few bucks, and I do, I'm thinking about solar panels for my house. Actually, even better than that, solar shingles. That way I can actually create some wealth, to use Tom's phrase, and at the same time save on expenses. Would you recommend that as a way to for personal finance?
Thank you, Robert. And let's keep in mind that Dr. Batra is an economist. He doesn't do personal finance counseling kind of things. That's a very different thing. But Dr. Batra, your thoughts on that?
I mean, he wants to invest money to have solar shingles. Is that?
Yeah, on his house. Cut his electric bill.
That's a good idea because it's good for economy, society in many ways, and perhaps you get some tax credit as well. Yeah. So that's pretty good idea.
Yeah, we have talked over the years. I mean, you've been a regular on this program for well over half a decade, and about how there are times, it seems, when commodities are going up, and then there are times when equities are going up and commodities are going down, like these kind of cycles. Any quick thoughts on that? We've got about a minute and a half before we rejoin our radio station.
Gold has been a very good investment, and I have been recommending that for a long time. But now it's so high. You should buy it whenever it falls, maybe $50, $60 at least. It's very high now.
Yeah, and I know that you hedge your gold positions. You've talked about that.
Yeah, with GLD you buy. Well, that's what I do. GLD, you can buy GLD stock, which represents gold, and then you can sell options against it, so you get some monthly income as well.
Right, and if it crashes, you don't get hung out to dry.
Yeah, you have some protection.
Yeah. Do you think that, just parenthetically here, do you think that commodities in general, gold, oil, these other things are at an all-time peak, or are they going to continue? Are we seeing inflation?
Once this, we don't know what this budget deficit deal is going to be. My hunch is that there is going to be a drastic cut in government spending, even if we do pass the debt ceiling. And if there is a drastic cut, and by that I mean something like $150 billion or $200 billion every year, then our economy will be in a double-dip recession, then oil will collapse.
All the commodities will collapse.
Because gold has a different...
Dr. Batra, hang on just a second. We're going to rejoin our commercial radio stations. Hang on.